Yeah. Oh, hot, hot, hot. Good morning, lovely people. How are you all doing? Yeah, I hope you're well. I'm grand. Just going to get on with all sorts of little jobs today. I've got my clipboard. It's a long list. How much will I get done? It's like I was saying in my end of year video at the end of last year. I haven't quite got into that whole last year, this year thing yet. I still feel like I'm in 23. But anyway, yeah, I was saying, you know, if I put my notes on a clipboard, somehow it's kind of like really official and it means everything's done. Not quite. Yeah, lots of little jobs to do today, and so getting them on a list like this, part of the reason is because of timings. To make sure I do everything in a sequence that makes sense. So for instance, this job, I'm going to soak something. I'm using sodium percarbonate, introduced to that by Richard and Paul. Thank you very much. It's in quite hot water. Just give it a stir around to, I was going to say melt it. What's the word? Dissolve it. It does it's like an oxy action. And the reason I want to get this on first of all is because I want to soak this for a couple of hours before it then goes in the machine with the rest of the wash. It's a gorgeous, look at this fabric, I love it. Isn't that cheerful, warm, lovely, cheerful? It's an apron. Look at that fabric. Gorgeous. It's Cath Kidston and it's really thick cotton. Right, get it into soak. Really, really thick cotton. And it feels like it's hardly been used at all. Oh, hold on, I've just realised the neck strap has got a knot in it. Let's undo that so it all gets a proper good soak. Yeah, it feels like it's hardly been worn at all. It feels like it's never been washed. You know that the dressing you get in fabric when it's new fabric. Anyway, but it has got a couple of marks on it and I paid quite a bit for it. Probably paid more than I would have liked. So I've got to make sure I do my absolute best by it and get it as near perfect as I can so that hopefully there's a little bit of profit in it for me. So that's in there now. That will soak for a couple of hours. Let me pop the bowl there because I want to have access to the tap in a minute. Right, what's next? Apron into soak. Tick! Ah, yes. Lunch out of the freezer. What should we have today? Chard and that looks, is it tomato and beanie? I'm not sure, but that's a chard soup. And I've got, I don't know if this will show up on camera. No, it's not going to. Can I get the lid off? Oh, sometimes I can get what I want from here, and I need a bowl to put it in. It's parmesan. Well, I say parmesan, it's not real parmesan, it's fakey parmesan. As in, it's vegetarian, so it can't be called parmesan, but it pretty much does the same thing. I'm just going to get just put a saucer over the top. Yeah, I don't use a whole lot of parmesan, so when I get a piece, I generally cut it into 3 little blocks, pop it in the freezer, and then get one out as and when I'm using it. And I'm going to be using it today because, where can I put it? If I put it on there, yeah, I'm going to be using it today because I've got, look, leftover wine. I know, my friend Jan thinks it's an alien concept to have leftover wine. She's like, just drink it. So I had a bottle of wine in the week between Christmas and New Year. I had a few glasses from it, obviously. Didn't want it all, got a bit left over. And the thing is, I want to use it up. Just drink it. No, I want to use it up because now that my fridge is dead, it's now completely dead, it's turned off, it's not doing anything, so we won't have any of that motor noise disrupting the video today. Yeah, it's just, I'm just having to slightly think twice in terms of what am I buying, what am I cooking, because nothing's going to go into the fridge. So using the things up that the last couple of things that were in the fridge, and then now when I'm cooking, obviously eat my meal that evening, but the rest, if I'm going to have, so I'm going to cook a meal tonight that I'll have tonight and tomorrow, but the rest will go in the freezer. So Parmesan, wine, there's your clue. I'm going to have a risotto tonight, yay! I saw the wine. And, well, a couple of days ago I thought, right, that's it, the fridge is going, turning it off, the noise from that motor that's struggling, there's no seal, I thought, this is ridiculous, get it turned off. The wine was sitting in the door of the fridge, and I thought, oh, I just don't fancy a glass of wine tonight. I know, I'll do risotto. So, I've been and done my weekly shop. We'll just chat about this one really quickly. Peas. I'm going to do a pea risotto. Not a fennel risotto, pea risotto. I went to the greengrocer. The fennel he does his weights in pounds. It was £1.40 per pound. What is that in kilos? That's about half a kilo, isn't it? Is £1. Anyway, I thought it's kind of pricey. And then I suddenly thought, oh, peas. I haven't bought frozen peas for yonks, absolutely yonks. So I was going to pop to Lidl anyway for these two other items. Oh, sorry, excuse me, itchy nose. So I thought I'll check out the peas at Lidl, and I might look at the peas and think, actually no, I'll go back to the greengrocer and have that fennel after all. But I have bought the peas. So I looked at tinned peas and frozen peas. Now, normally, I'd only eat peas once a year, around about end of May, beginning of June, just have them when they're fresh. So I haven't, like I said, I haven't bought, they're not processed. I haven't bought peas from the shop that are in anything other than their pods. So I was looking at the prices, and a small tin of peas in water, 55p, and then the big bag of frozen, I can't remember whether it's 800 grams or a kilo, was 89p. Oh gosh, I can't remember. 89p. It was less than £1, and I thought the frozen were better value, so I bought the bag of frozen. Yay! Oh my goodness, can't wait. So while I was there, I also wanted an onion. So this is the thing I mean about with the fridge being off. Normally any of my veggies, any of my pickings from the garden, whatever it is, I literally use the fridge like a store cupboard, like a pantry. Just put everything in there, just all in, all done, easy. So I think the onion, I only wanted to buy one onion. They don't do any loose onions. Besides, it's kind of cheaper to buy a few, isn't it? So I had a look at their onions. 3 white onions were 99p, 3 red onions 99p. They didn't have any organic, and then they have these on offer for 69p, and there's 6 in there. They're not massive. I've never seen these before. Have any of you seen? Look, pink onions. I mean, is that going to make my risotto pink? I've never seen pink onions before. I'm going to guess that it's somewhere halfway between a white onion and a red onion. I mean, I don't care. I'm not trying to have girly food. But yeah, 69p for those 6. That's the offer this week. It's always well worth... I mean, I generally... when I go shopping, it's generally for more like the store cupboard stuff, like rice or lentils or what have you, stuff to go with my own veggies. But in my branch of Lidl's, when you walk in, on the sort of facing you as you go in on that end, there are always the offers on the veggies, and there's usually I don't know, 5 or 6 different veg, maybe 2 or 3 fruits in there. And they'll have these great offers. So I think it's quite a nifty idea to, when you go shopping, obviously you want to have an idea of your meals and a meal plan, because that's how that's how you're going to budget your shopping. But if you can have a bit of flexibility so that, I don't know, for instance, if you're going to buy a cabbage and you see that kale is on offer, buy kale instead of the cabbage. Or if you were going to buy, like I've done with my onions, just buy the pink onions. I don't know what they're like. We'll give them a go. But they won't be going in the fridge, so I'll pop them in a bowl later. The other thing I bought is, this isn't a shopping video, by the way. Marmite on me. So, bought a pot of Marmite. £2.99. Oh, so expensive. I don't buy it very often. I reckon, when I was trying to work it out, I'm thinking that it's probably about 6 months I get out of a pot of Marmite. I don't have it often, but it's a comfort food to me. It's one of the only things I can face eating when I come out the other side of a migraine. And after a migraine, I probably won't have eaten for 24, 48 hours sometimes. So a bit of Marmite on toast, love it. The one before this, the one that's just about to run out, see, spot the difference. I mean, they're so cheeky, these supermarkets, aren't they? Is it an identical sort of size bottle? That's Lidl's own. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the price was. And when I went this time, got the Marmite, they didn't have any of this for me to be able to bring the prices home, but it was cheaper. 10, 15, 20% maybe? I can't remember, but I do remember that it was cheaper. And when I looked at the price, I think it was something like, at the time, the Marmite was £2.69 and this was £2.19 or something, or even £1.99. And I thought, oh, that is quite a difference. That's the kind of difference, it does add up. So I went for this one. I don't like it. I mean, it's so close. It's so close to Marmite, but it's just not quite there. And I think it's one of those things where that price difference, if it was a weekly item, then you may think, yeah, you know, if I'm going to save 40, 50p every week on that one item in the shop, it would be worth that swap down, price down. However, because it's such an infrequent purchase for me, my attitude is, you know what, I'm going to pay that extra 50, 60p or whatever it is to get the one I actually really like. Yeah, it's always a toss-up, isn't it? It's that thing of wanting to save money, but ultimately I don't want to compromise on what I like and don't like. Let's get on with things. Freezer, yeah. Yeah, some things are a compromise too far. Right, next clean job before I start getting into mucky jobs. I've got some, this is my calendula petals. Let's loosen them up a bit. Some of them. Oh, summit in a jar. So I'm going to start my cold maceration of them to make calendula oil, which will then eventually be combined with other ingredients to make calendula balm. You've seen me do it a million times. Do you remember I was saying that, so this is 500 mils of almond oil. I wasn't sure how much I was going to make. I can buy 100 mils of almond oil locally. I can buy 500 mils online and have it sent to me. The 500 mils only cost about £1 more than the 100 mils. So much more economical. And all I do, I'm sure anyone who's been watching for a while will have seen this before, I'm just going to get all my lovely petals covered with the oil. Hang on a bit, I'm sort of doing it a bit cat-handedly. That's going to take up all 500 mils of the oil, I think. I'll just put the lid on because I am clumsy at this. Send it flying everywhere. Yep. I could probably do with a bit more oil, but that will do for now. So that now Won't do anything with it, it'll just sit out of direct sunlight, because direct sunlight, it starts to break down all those wonderful medicinal properties. But I'll put it somewhere warm-ish, it's a cold maceration. You can speed up this process by doing it on the stove. Essentially what's going to happen now is all the goodness that's in the petals is going to be leached out and into the oil, so that eventually I will tip it out, strain it, remove all the petals and just keep the oil with all that beautiful healing properties that the calendula have in them. Actually, that is just enough oil. So it will sit out of direct sunlight somewhere, I say warm, nowhere in the flat is warm at the moment. Actually, just on that subject, while we're here a second, it's been so mild. We've had 2-3 weeks now of really mild weather, so I'm hardly needing to put the heating on at all. I mean, I'm still, you know, thermals, and I've got thermals on under my trousers. I don't know whether I'm just a bit more used to it these days. I would never have tolerated this temperature a couple of years ago, but I'm finding that with my layers of thermals, it's quite mild, being active, don't need the heating on. And then in the evening, look, yeah, of course it cools down quite a bit in the evening, and I tend to then be sitting still, chuck a blanket over myself, but yay to saving on the fuel bills. So, back to the calendula, sorry. I'm not going to put it, when I say put it somewhere warm, it's not going to be anything over sort of 14 or 15 degrees, but just somewhere where it's not going to get really cold, because that would just slow it down too much. So, you know what, I'm going to sit it on the kitchen surface just behind you. That will do it fine. Right, that can go in the recycle. Oh no, actually, what am I talking about? I'll keep this because it's dark. It protects the medicinal property of the calendula. So once it's made, I'll strain it off and put it into here, because then as I use it up to make balm, I won't use it all in one go, so this will protect it, so that can just go and sit back in the bathroom. Now it's time to get a bit mucky, and I need to spread things out a bit in here. Quick bit of plant care, house plant care, and remember this is all about staging for the flat for when I come to sell. This is my little, I've got them in a tray at the moment, it's just easier to keep them tidy and clean. If I water and overwater, it spills out, or when the petals drop off, because a couple of them have flowered. But you can see there's a problem. 1, 2, this little tray makes me laugh. I'll turn it around. I face it the plain side out that I see, but on the other side, grow up! Yeah, the third cutting, I think I was being too optimistic, a bit soon with it. Let's tip some of that compost out. I've got very little compost, so I'm just putting that in a bowl for a second. Yeah, I was being a bit optimistic. I went a little bit too soon, and the root system just wasn't enough to support it. So this one was another cutting I took from the mother plant again. The mother plant is in the front room. Yeah, she's looking fine and dandy. I mean, I could almost take more cuttings from her again right now. I won't. I took this cutting, I think it was about the 20th of October. So in the space of, it's about 8-9 weeks or so. Now, I've got some nice roots. It's literally just been sitting in a jam jar of water. So, yay, time to get you in your new home. I think, just chopped off, you could hear it then, couldn't you hit the newspaper? I think I'm going to have to get another little bag of compost. I was hoping to avoid doing that. And then that water that it's been sat in anyway, that compost is really dry, because that compost has just been sat there on the windowsill with the other 2 pots. So yeah, use that water, give it a good soak, get that pot scrubbed. Let's pop them behind you for now. But the other two, the original two cuttings, have done really well. They're looking really healthy and strong, and they're just that little bit of, I mean, in the bathroom, I feel like my bathroom feels like a warm environment anyway, because I've got wainscoting up to slightly over a metre high. So because of wood, that makes the bathroom feel warmer than if it was all tile anyway. Plus it's painted that sage colour, which gives it a bit of warmth. Then there are objects like my wooden shelving. It's a lovely old pine. It's kind of like that sort of bleached out colour. So there is warmth anyway, but I just think within that window space, that view of the bathroom, it's white ceiling, white window, white bath, just that little bit of green from the plants, and that softening of the colour and the texture of the terracotta. It's just all little, really subtle things, but hopefully which will make someone viewing the place hopefully fall in love with it. Right, now my St. George's swords. Whoopla! So these were a gift, well, I say these. This was a gift from Heather. My oh my, they've grown. So when I got it, it looked pretty much like this, but it was actually, that was all smaller, and this was coming up alongside. So I thought I'll pop this up on its own, and this has already got 2 new shoots. The only issue was, at the time, this, you can probably hear the dull, this pot is cracked, and I thought this is going to burst at any point. So I'm going to pop this up into this pot, and then I've got this one, pretty odd, look at that, patina, that did have my peace lily, but my peace lily gave up the ghost eventually. So yeah, that came out. So the big one's going to go in there, and then hopefully I won't need to pot it on again for possibly years. They prefer to be a bit pot bound. Now, because I'm lacking compost, what I'm going to do, because this pot is broken anyway, is I'm going to try and carefully, I don't want to lose any compost, I'm really low on compost. Hang on a sec, let's do it over this bag. I want to get this plant out. Come on, teasy. Hang on a sec. You can see how you see how the roots have really filled out on that. Okay, now, oh, you know what? Where's that bowl again? Gently pop it in there, because I don't want to disturb it too much. But what I want to do is, it's just the grit in the bottom. I'll just mix it into the. I'm going to smash this up and use it as crock, because it's no good as a pot. It's, you know, it's just, you can't trust a pot that's cracked. So I'm going to make it, smash it up. I've only got my little hammer, in order to fill out the bottom of the big pot. Where's my chopping board gone? Now, I don't want it to fly everywhere, so what I'm going to do is put it inside my cotton bag. This could all go horribly wrong. Hang on, I'm getting my chopping board out from behind you. It's heavy. Just protect the surface of the countertop, which I spent so much time lovingly restoring. Okay, be brave. Tuck that under. That's satisfying. Right. I'm not going to be tempted to pick these out. Well, I might, the big one. That's okay, I can sit that in the bottom over the drainage hole anyway, but you can see now I've got crocks. Look, I know that might seem really shockingly wasteful to some, but hang on a sec, put that down there for now. I'm not short of pots, and like I said, I don't want the plant to burst out and then I end up with a mess everywhere, because that will irritate me. But also for the house move, you know, these are all going to be put into, presumably in boxes or crates or whatever for the move. I don't want it smashing on the way. So yeah, let's minimise the risk of that now by purposefully smashing it. Just going to arrange them ever so slightly. Let's see in terms of depth. I might actually need to do one more smash. I've put my board away. Oh, let's do it on the washing up thingy. It's one of those days where I think, I wish I had a bit more space. That's got it. Or ideally, this is why I fantasize, you know, when I've moved, if I've got a back garden, when I've got a back garden, to be able to do this sort of stuff outside in the garden, do all my messy stuff on a potting bench in my very own garden. Oh, it's tantalising. It's exciting and tantalising. Right, that's better. Is that going to fit? Oh no, don't, because I'll smash my good pot. I don't want to smash my good pot. Now, is this... Oi! Yeah, that's going to be perfect-ish. Perfect-ish. Again, look how all its roots have found the edge of the pot. So I've not had a St. George's sword before. So I did do my looking up, and one of the things, excuse me, well, it's like any plant, isn't it? Whether it's vegetables you're growing in the garden or, okay, easy tiger. Whether it's vegetables you're growing in the garden or for house plants, whatever it is, if you're doing something new, you do your research, don't you? And the sort of things I look up, it's like, you know, obviously with seeds, it's like when's the best time to start them? But things like what kind of soil do they like? Do they want a particular kind of soil? Do they want to be pot bound? Do they want to be very free draining? Do they prefer to be potted on regularly? With my vegetables, it's sort of like, you know, do they do better for being pricked out and then repeated potting ons, or do they prefer to have less root disturbance, so therefore sow the seed in situ where you want it to grow, and don't do any sort of transplanting, thinning, potting on, pricking out. So yeah, I looked up this one, and everything I read suggested that it would be happier to be ever so slightly pot bound. So that's what it's getting. Oh my goodness, please have enough compost. I do have to pop out today. I need to pop down to the garden and pop to the post office. Lots of popping. So it's possible I might, while I'm out, pick up some more compost, because actually all those plants that I potted up in, when was it, September or so? I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Yeah, they could all do with a little bit more compost top dressed, and where it's all sort of settled down. Yeah. If I get another bag, I can top dress everything, and just have them all super duper really smart. Nearly done with this one. Will that do? Oh, a bit more. no, I'm definitely going to have to get some more compost. But that one looks fine in there. And now, in terms of drip tray, this pot has stood for years in, oh, this gorgeous, this old brass preserving pan. It weighs a ton, weighs a ton. It sits out in the living room, so actually it's dusty. Oh, who cares? It's on the inside. It's actually really attractive to have there sitting outside. So that job's a good one. Let's just, oh, it's heavy. I'm going to put it on the chair for a minute. And yeah, this one can now go in here, but yeah, I'm really going to have to get a load more compost. Oh, such a klutz. But what I will do, I think there's enough to put in the bottom for now. I was really hoping I'd get away with it. If I hadn't been for those pesky kids, I'd have got away with it. Oh, I might just. Really don't want to spend. That's the thing, isn't it? I'm trying to, you know, in as many cases as possible in terms of staging, is to do it without spending money. In other words, use whatever I've got already, but just rearrange things in a way to just sort of hopefully maximise how attractive the flat looks. It's like when I did the kitchen and did the kitchen shelves, get some of the stuff off the shelves, it was all looking a bit cluttered. And whatever goes back on the shelves, obviously it has to work for me on a day-to-day basis, but whatever goes back on the shelves, do it in such a way that's, you know, that's attractive. It might not seem much, but you know, it's a buyer's market at the moment. So anyone, hang on a sec, I can't get the angle right, so I'm going to pop it into the bowl first. Yeah, so any of us who are hoping to sell, we really need to, you know, do everything we can to make our own property stand out as best we can. But like I said, with the least expense, there are going to be expenses. But you know, just, you know, even things like the way I've got my books on the shelf or whatever, they've been thinned out a bit too. You haven't seen it as it is because I'm sitting down low, but higher up I've now got space to have some of my really beautiful wooden boxes, so it's kind of pared down. It's a bit easier on the eye. I mean, books are always easy on the eye for me. The bathroom shelf has been pared down, these, and then, you know, all this stuff with the plants. It was just enough compost. That's amazing. Right, so what's next on the list? Plants. Oh yeah, the penny jar. I'll just say this quickly before we're going to go into the other room now. This, hold on a sec, I have to use my knee on the fridge door. My penny jar, normally by now it would be empty. I'm going to put it down, it is heavy. It's not full, it's only up to about there. It was about twice as full at the end of 2022. So historically I've used that for Christmas, a bit of extra stuff for Christmas, whether it's a couple of last minute gifts. I tend to buy gifts throughout the year though. If I see something that's perfect for someone, I'll grab it throughout the year. But yeah, historically I've used it last minute presents, maybe wrapping paper, extra food treats, what have you. But last Christmas, I emptied it out, there was 60 quid in it, woo! Not last Christmas, the 2022. And I thought I didn't need to buy anything. So I decided I had 20 quid for me, so I did get a few sort of foodie treats. And then the other 20, I did 20 quid on a shop of food for the food bank, 10 quid on toiletries for the food bank, and 10 quid on chocolates and sweet treats for the kids for the food bank. Brilliant. Chuffed. And I was going to do the same a couple of weeks ago at the end of 2023, exactly the same again in terms of stuff for the food bank and sweet treats for the kids. Then I realised I've had the chair against my fridge door holding it shut, and I just kept, it was in the way, and I suddenly thought, oh, my penny jar, slam that against the fridge, that'll hold the door on for now. Oh no, I better not empty it, because then it won't be heavy enough to hold the door shut. But then I thought, actually, a couple of times I need water. A couple of times I've been to the supermarket in the interim. This is our Lidl. A couple of times I've been there, sort of in that month of December or so. I kept seeing the food bank collection area was really jam-packed. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And I think a lot of people do think about giving at Christmas, whereas they might not at other times of year. Great. So it occurred to me, I thought, you know what, actually this is okay, not doing it. I will do it when I've got the new fridge sorted, so I don't know when that will be, hopefully before too long. But then let's say it's sometime into February, I can do exactly the same kind of shop that I did the previous year. The majority for food, but plus some toiletries and some chockies and sweet treats for the kids. If I do it in February, great, because maybe other folk will, there'll be less being donated by February. Oh, excuse me, itchy schnozzle. So yeah, I felt, I had this momentary pang of like, oh, I haven't done it this year, but then I thought, oh, well, maybe that's not a bad thing, because lots of folk are donating at Christmas. I'll donate in February. Right, I need to clean up then. What's next? Calendula done. Oh, cut my hair. Do section. I need to have a bit of a clean up, and then we'll carry on cracking through this list. Time for the annual chop. I don't like my hair when it's onto my face like this. Oh, it feels all scratchy and itchy. I'm just going to lengthen those bits. Now, I know everybody's got different methods of how they do their own haircut. Some people would say pull all your hair up onto the top and cut it, and then you get lovely layers. Well, I can tell you that when you've got very long, when you've got very fine, very straight hair, doing your own self layers looks awful. It just looks like, you know, if you've got a bit of a wave, if you've got thick hair, it's a bit more forgiving, but on my hair it just looks dreadful. So all I'm doing is getting it level either side, and then I can snip. I couldn't remember when I'd last done this, but I did remember that I put a photo on Insta, like, oh, chop my hair out. It was actually October 2022, so it's high time. Oh, little kinky bits at the end. I mean, quite soft. The one thing about my hair is, I mean, it's annoying because it's poker straight, but oh, it's so soft and silky. No conditioner, none of that commercial stuff. Oh, that's better. Good enough, isn't it? I have it up most of the time anyway. But yeah, I don't use no conditioner, don't colour, just as nature intended. You can see my little bits of grey on my temples. I embrace it, I've earned those greys. So yeah, it's just bar shampoo. Oh gosh, what's the make of the one I'm using at the moment? I can't remember. It's great. There are so many bar shampoos around these days, as in it looks like a bar of soap, so it's, you know, wash your hair without, oh, lumpy bit at the back. Yeah, wash your hair without using bottles. No more bottles, yay. Now there are loads on the market, and I've tried loads over the years. Some of them I've used and I felt, oh, I can feel almost I feel like there's something thick on my hair. I don't like, it's like, I don't, because like I was just saying, my hair is so fine, and I mean, it really is like, close up of my hair. And it's funny, look in the light how it looks. Sometimes it looks almost red, sometimes it looks blonde. Look at that now, that looks really dark. Obviously the ends do get lighter in the summer, but yeah, so because my hair is so fine, it felt, I could feel weight on it with one bar I tried. And so I was having to do rinses with rosemary, so crushed up rosemary in a teapot, like brew up a rosemary tea, let it cool down and then use it, rinse it. But even after rinsing, I still felt my hair was heavy. It's a case of experimenting, that's the thing. If you try a bar shampoo and you hate it, don't write off all bar shampoos. That would be like trying a bottle shampoo, hating it, and therefore saying, I'm never buying shampoo again. Please don't write it off. They are worth persevering with until you find one you like and stick with it. And then what are we looking at in terms of the environmental impact of our washing of our hair? It's a cardboard box. Tear it up, put it in the compost, put it into the recycling bin. That's it. And yeah, no conditioner, you know, and I would say, I don't know how much you can tell, but I would say, looks in pretty good condition, doesn't it? It's shiny, healthy hair. Obviously, the health of our hair also depends on what we put in here. So yes, good. Let me just get rid of my hair. I'll take that to the allotment in a minute. Actually, it's on there. I'll take that to the allotment in a minute, put it in my rose bush, and then the birds can come and take it for their nests. Oh, what a lovely nest, my hair. Right, I've cut my hair. Right, so next is, I've got my bits ready. It's time to take apart my secateurs, clean and sharpen them, because I've still got a few bits at the plot to chop up and, put away for the year. I'll do that on the table in the living room though, I need a bit more space. But before I do that, I've got my next bits ready because I've got an order for the shop, so I'm going to go and make up a parcel. And it's always that thinking ahead, isn't it? So when I take the parcel to the post office, then pop to the plot, drop a couple of things off at the plot, including my hair. On my way home, do I need to pick up anything on my way home? I'll have a little think about it. I might get a loaf of bread actually, because I'm going to have soup for my lunch. Yeah, I'll get a little loaf on my way home. Right, so what's next? Parcel, then secateurs. Oh, and then before I go out, mustn't forget, might make a note for self. By the time I've done all this now, I'm just looking at the clock. Actually, yeah, by the time I've parcel, secateurs, my apron that's in the bowl in the sink, it'll be time to get that out and put it in with the wash. All the other washing's in the machine ready. I've given it a couple of little stirs and agitations. I can take I'll keep my apron on because I'm doing the secateurs. It's that you know, I was just saying a second ago when I was doing the plant about one day when I have my own garden, just little things like the clear up after doing that potting on. Obviously, because I'm indoors, I'm much more careful and precious about doing the clean up. Excuse me, because later on I'll be prepping food here. If it's my own garden, done. Done. Doesn't matter if there's a bit of soil left on the potting bench, does it? Right, okay, let's go and make up a parcel. Whew, quick pit stop. Parcel ready to go. Good. Oh, it's all books. Lovely books. Secateurs. Maybe I need to tighten them a little bit, but pretty much good as new. Look, sparkly, clean. It's always such a satisfying job to get them done. I'm not the world's best sharpener. I do as well as I can. I think sharpening is, it's one of those jobs that, you know, obviously the more you do it, the better you get at it. I probably only sharpen 3 or 4 times a year. If I was doing it every day, I'd be more skilled at it. But, you know, I do a good enough job for those secateurs to work for me. Now, I'm gallipading a bit. This day is disappearing. I started at about 7:30 this morning. It's just gone 1. Where's the day gone? So since I was in the kitchen, also some sunshine has come out. Can you see? Look, I've got all kind of white glow on the side of my face. Oh, nice lighting, flattering lighting. That's because the sun's coming in. It's hitting the bottom of the kitchen door there, which is white, and throwing it up here. I'm mentioning it because when I was after I just cut my hair in the kitchen, a couple of minutes later, I felt the brightness. I thought, oh, brilliant. So rather than doing the parcel and the secateurs straight away, I dived in here and I did some photography of some items for the shop. Great. It's one of those, like, grab the light while you can. Now, in terms of putting those items into my shop, it takes ages. It takes, I've got it down now to about 10 minutes per item. But that's something I can do at night time. It's something I can do at midnight. You know, I don't need the light for it. I'll save that. I still got the tail end of something. I will save that until tonight. So good. That stock is photographed. I also had to attend to a few things on the computer. So while I was there, obviously the shop order, that's all on the computer too. Do a few bits and bobs, which is why I'm suddenly at sort of like gone 1, and I haven't stepped out yet. The washing, the laundry is now on. The apron, I gave it a bit of a in that solution. Wring it out, it's in the washing machine. Good. I was going to have lunch, but actually my soup hasn't defrosted. So what I'm going to do now is post office, down to the allotment, take some bits and bobs down to the allotment, grab a couple of bits of veggies to bring home. But I realise this video's gone on long already, so rather than just keep filming, you know, you will be here all day. So, clipboard, post office plot, veggies home. That'll probably take me about an hour and a half. So if I leave pretty much now, 1:15, 2:15, I should be home just before 3, I think. Have my soup for lunch at 3. Then the washing will be done. Get the washing out. Get that apron pressed. I won't photograph it today. Well, the light will have gone by then anyway, but it will need to dry before I can stage it for photographing. But yeah, ironing of shop stock. I was hoping to... I don't know whether I'll get time today, but I've got my next 3 books to talk about. 2 of my books for tenner and a gift. I was hoping to film that this afternoon. That's a possibility. That's a strong possibility that after lunch and after ironing, it'll be about, by then it'll be sort of 4, 4:30. The reason I'm mentioning timings is I have to work out my day. It might even be by 5. I could film. But what else needs doing? Then about 7, I could do that, because then at about 6:37, I'll start to cook. I'm going to do my pea risotto. Yay! Can't wait. So yeah, use up that bit of wine because there's no fridge to put it in. Have my supper about 8. Wash up, clean the kitchen down. That'll all be done by 8:30. Then I can think about, say, if I do film the books, I can think about editing the book video. I've got the stock I can upload later into the evening. What else? Then I've got... One of my other jobs to do today is where I've turned the fridge off, the water has condensed to water again. So the bottom of it, it's got water in the bottom of the fridge. And what I don't want is that water just sitting there, and I don't know. I just think about mozzies laying eggs or whatever. So I want to get all the bottom of the fridge mopped out and dry, but also because then when I have it removed, I don't want that water being slopped out all over the place, either in my flat or down the hallway stairs. So get the fridge mopped out. But I think that might be enough. Out now, home, lunch, film the books, no, ironing, shop stock, film books, begin to edit books possibly, cook risotto, clean up in kitchen, including the bottom of the kitchen fridge. Later tonight, so about 10, upload the new shop stock and finish the book edit, if I film the books. Otherwise, start editing today's video. Otherwise, today's video will be edited tomorrow morning. So yeah, there we go. That's a typical day, another typical day. Just cramming loads of little bits and bobs in. There may be a couple of things. I've got other little bits and bobs on this list that almost certainly won't get done. I'll wedge them in tomorrow or within the next couple of days. But yeah, it's all about, you know, like keeping on top of things with the flat in terms of for selling, the plants, fridge, all that kind of stuff. Keeping on top of me food, cooking, going to the plot, getting some more veggies. Shop order, great. New stock for the shop, great. Washing new stock for the shop, great. Free haircut, getting my calendula oil underway. So it's all about that kind of, you know, just getting on with things that make life better, like calendula oil or whatever. Yeah, just getting on with my life, but doing it in a way that isn't going to cost me a lot of money, if any money at all. You know, like with the secateurs, this is something I bang on about all the time. It's like, look, these are expensive things to buy new. But in theory, I shouldn't have to buy another pair for the rest of my life if I maintain them and look after them. So yeah, it's taken some time to do that today. Let's say it took half an hour. What's half an hour of my time worth? £1, £2. Do that 3 or 4 times a year. That's maybe £8 of my time per year. But buying a new pair, they're over £30. If I was buying a new pair every year, anyway, you get the point. Trying to do stuff for as little money as possible, looking after things that they last as long as possible, and trying to make the flat look as nice as possible so that I can sell it. But that I will definitely do for this video today. So I'm going to, someone remind me, what am I about to do next? I'm going to go out, aren't I, and then have my lunch when I get back. So for now, I'm going to say cheerio to you all. I hope you're having a good start to your new year. Get a clipboard! Have a list. And one of the things I do tend to do, I was supposed to shut up, wasn't I? One of the things I tend to do is, one of my last things at night, and I think it kind of helps to clear the mind as well, is if I've got a day like today coming where it's lots of little jobs, rather than say one big job like sewing all day, or if I'm in the allotment all day, if there's lots of little bits and bobs of jobs like this, I have a piece of paper with all those little jobs written on it, but then I think about the order, what makes sense in terms of the order. So soaking that apron first thing this morning, well, it wasn't, when I soaked the apron, that didn't go until about 9 or something, but yeah, making sure that things that have got a time constraint sort of thing to them get done first. Knowing that I want to go to the plot today, make sure I do it before it gets dark, because, you know, we're in winter. I don't want to plan for that at 5 o'clock, it'll be dark. Thinking to myself, well, if I'm going to go to the plot to pick up some veggies, what else can I do on the way? What else can I do while I'm out? Well, today it happens I've got a parcel. It might be on another day I think, well, I've got a parcel to take to the post office. What else shall I do while I'm out? Oh, okay, go to the allotment, get some veggies, you see. So trying to make the most of each minute of each day, but also, you know, trying to do it all without that. Keep yourself busy and you can't spend money. All right, lovelies, that really is it. I will see you again soon. I can't remember what's coming up next. I've no idea. I have to look at my clipboard. It's not on there. So yeah, whatever you're up to, have fun doing it. Try to find ways of doing things for less money, for no money. Tuck away what you might have spent into your savings accounts instead. We'll catch up on that again soon, actually. We'll see how we're all doing with our not spending and putting into savings another day. For now, that really is enough. All it leaves me to say is, I'm doolally. Cheerio.